Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. What do you need to let go of to move forward in your life? To become your higher self, to reach that dream, to reach that goal, to get your dream reality? Basically, what do you need to let go of that's holding you back, that is just more baggage for you? We have here 3 piles for you to choose between. You can choose more than one if you are drawn to more than one. Pile 1 is the Tiger's Eye. Pile 2 is Azurite. And pile 3 is Charoite. I think that's how you say it. It's the purple one. So we may get into some details that could possibly be triggering for some people. So I do want you to know that this could possibly be triggering, but our triggers show us where we need to heal. Our triggers could show us what we need to let go of. So just keep that in mind, okay? I know you guys have been wanting readings that are more fun and predictions, which I do those sometimes, right? Because it is fun and is entertaining. It does get our mind off the seriousness. But sometimes we do need to get a little serious to get more onto our purpose, right? So I want to help you guys heal and not just be entertaining. I kind of like to mix the two, right? So that's why we're doing this reading today. Some small details may not resonate. They don't resonate for you, they resonate for someone else. But if you want to book a personal reading that is more accurate for you personally, information to book with me will be down in the description box. You can also hit me up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. If I'm not posting here, I might be posting on one of those. Be careful on TikTok of people pretending to be me. There is scammers reaching out to people. I don't reach out to people first, okay? And thank you everyone for the likes, the comments, the shares, and the subscribes. Make sure you have that notification bell on so you don't miss when I'm going live to post the mini readings or just pick a card readings like this. So I'll give you guys a minute to choose the pile you need. Hey Angel Cake, hey Nikki. And then I'm going to go ahead and get on into the reading. Right now I'm currently looking crazy. I have a turmeric face mask on. It's supposed to be good for brightening your skin, so I just realized my hand is kind of yellow from when I put it on. So if you guys see a yellow hand, that's what it is. It's because I just made this turmeric face mask. Hey Mystic Lion. I know it is weird that no one's here. Maybe because I usually come on way earlier. Hopefully I didn't get shadow banned or something. That happened to me on TikTok before. I might actually be going through that right now on TikTok. Hey Diana. And plus I'm one of those blunt readers for the most part. And sometimes I think I piss not just people off sometimes, but also the government. So, yeah. All right, let's get on into it. Let's start. Move those over. Okay, those of you that chose the Tiger's Eye, pile 1. What do you need to currently let go of to move forward? And that's funny too because, you know, a lot of people may not be in here because of the topic. People like the entertaining readings, the love readings, the entertaining readings, but they don't like the more serious topics. Which I get it, but it is also kind of sad because we all need that little push to heal, right? And become a better version of ourselves. Okay. So I'm going to pull from a deck that I don't know if you guys have really seen me pull from before. What does pile 1 need to let go of? What's holding them back? What do they need to let go of? What boundaries need to be created or strengthened within my relationships? To create more healthy boundaries, you must first get in tune with our needs, desires, and feelings, and believe we are worthy of them. In your relationships, it's essential to know where they end and where you begin. When we separate our energy from others, we gain clarity about what we really want. Then we stop doing things that no longer align with ourselves. If you are an empath, you can still be compassionate towards others without taking on their stuff. It is safe to trust that you are not here to fix anyone. So you need to let go of the belief that you have to heal and fix people. You don't, you probably can't, you know. So, you know, the best healers heal themselves and they send out that vibration. And that's what's healing others. It's not the act of trying to fix someone physically. So you have a limiting belief that you need to fix people. You need to save the world. You need to, you know, and that's good to want to benefit the world, but you got to do that for yourself. That's how you fix the world, is by fixing yourself, not by physically fixing other people. So you have to let go of that belief, that mindset, that way of thinking. Another thing that I'm seeing with just this one card is that some of you may be kind of people pleasers, to where you don't want to set up certain boundaries or say no because you don't want to upset someone. You don't want to be that person that's not there for someone. And for some of you, if it's not that, it's that you don't speak up about what you need from your partners. Like if you need reassurance, you don't let that be known. You could act out what you need in other ways instead of just saying exactly what it is that you need or want. I feel like this pile, you have a lot of wounds around being neglected. Neglected by partners, neglected by parents, neglected by family members. And this could be where all of this is stemming from. Maybe some of you feel like you need to prove your worth by being a people pleaser. So this is something you may need to let go of. I mean, I'm channeling a song right now. That's why I got quiet. It's called "I'm So Sick" by Flyleaf. She's like saying, I'm so sick, infested with where I am. Let me live without this emptiness, empty bliss, selfishness. I'm so sick. So if you do feel those emotions of feeling empty, or you feel like you're selfish when you have to put yourself first, you just feel like you have to be a selfless person all the time, that's a belief you have to let go of. Some of you could say yes when you really want to say no, and vice versa, and then that builds up resentment to where you eventually you could not like that person, or you blow up on that person, but it's not as far as their fault as it is yours. Let's see what else. Ooh, I have to sneeze. We have Justice. Something that you need to let go of is that some of you could be wanting someone to get you may want revenge on someone, or you could be waiting for someone to get karma for how they've done you. Which is reasonable, right? Especially if they really hurt you or did something intentional. It's understandable. But it's only holding you back. Instead of, you know, sending that energy to them to fail, use that to transmute and make yourself more powerful. Use it to build that business up, that talent up, that degree, you know, get that degree, whatever it is. That anger that you feel towards that person, that revenge. You know that what Beyonce says, best revenge is your paper. Always stay gracious, best revenge is your paper. That's what she says. That's the vibe I'm feeling. And some of you, you may not be seeking out revenge physically, but like I said, you just really want someone to get what they deserve. And I'm telling you, they will. But don't be like waiting on it or looking for it or just sending that energy to them to get, because that's energy wasted that you could be using to transmute and build your purpose up more. These may not be super long readings, to be honest. I feel like these are going to be pretty straightforward, to the point. A lot of you probably chose more than one pile. But, you know, these things are actually blocking your abundance, your money, and your stability. You could have a lot more wealth coming in if you let go of these things. It's somehow affecting your money and stability. Especially because if you got all this money, you'd be giving it to the wrong people. You'd be giving it to those that completely did you wrong, trying to share your success with them. And Spirit is like, oh no. Yes, you want to help people. You want to be generous, right? That's okay. But don't be helping the people that try to destroy you when you get money. Spirit knows this about you, and that's why Spirit is kind of waiting for you to heal this people pleaser trait. You have a hidden belief of, I just want them to like me. It's like you feel like you have to prove your worth to people, whether it's through people pleasing, whether it's through looking good, having an image. Some of you may feel like if you don't look your best, you're worthless. And I understand the whole manifesting thing, where material things do matter to manifest. But don't put your worth on that. You know what I'm saying? If you're having a bad makeup day or whatever, that doesn't mean that you're less than or worthless. You know what I mean? Is there anything else? I think this is going to be a pretty short reading compared to the other type of readings that we do. But the information coming out is valuable, so. Yeah. So you may need to have a little more balance instead of thinking with your emotions or your empathy, to think a little bit more with your logic. You could be meeting a lot of Capricorns or Aquariuses or Tauruses. The reason for that is because you need something that they have, which is being more grounded and thinking more logic instead of with emotions. That's why you've been running into them. Or maybe they've been running into you. There's something you need from that sign. Okay? So I'm going to leave that here. I mean, yes, it was a short reading, but it was really to the point, you know? That's exactly what you need to let go of. And how do you do that? Guys, get into meditation, get into massage therapy, get into somatic yoga, somatic healing. They have guided ones on YouTube completely free. You just need to do it. And it has to be something a part of your routine for a while until you feel like you no longer need it. Okay, let's go to the next pile. Pile 2. Azurite. So I can already tell before I even pull cards with this pile is that you're not following the formula Bashar gave. Do you guys know who Bashar is? Let me know down in the comments. Bashar is an extraterrestrial that gives us here on Earth a lot of messages. And he works with a guy named Daryl Anka. And he tells them exactly what a formula is to have a high vibration and enjoy life. And I don't remember the entire formula, but one of the important parts of that formula that I do remember, that I'm being told to pass the message along, is that you don't follow your passion at the time. And that doesn't mean necessarily like, oh, I gotta quit my job to follow my passion. That's not what he means by that. A lot of people can interpret his messages in the wrong way. So what he actually means is, if your choice is doing the dishes or sweeping the floor, and you're like, I just hate dishes, I'd rather sweep the floor, then sweep the floor. Okay? It doesn't have to be anything major. Okay? If your choice is going to sleep or doing your homework, and you just really don't want to do your homework, you feel like you need a rest, then take a nap. That would be your passion at the time. Okay? It doesn't have to be something as major as, oh, I got to pursue music or do my 9 to 5. Because that's not super realistic, right? So you want to follow your passions in a realistic way. And that's how you will have a higher vibration. But yet you're still in the 3D, right? We're not all the way in the spiritual world where we can just quit our job and do our passion. Eventually that could be a thing, right? But we all know that usually we have to start up that hustle first, unless we're living with our parents or something. And then we can quit our 9 to 5. We have to still be realistic. We are in the 3D, you know, but still follow those passions. That's, you need to let go of. For some of you, it could be the belief of feeling like you have to majorly follow your passion. Like I said, quitting the 9 to 5 to do your music or whatever, your creative thing. And that's just not true. Or it's just that your belief is that you have to do this and you can't make a choice of doing something else. I don't know if I described that last one accurately. I'm trying to think of how to word that. Like, sometimes you may not see that you have multiple choices to choose from. You think you have to do this at this time. Like, maybe you feel like you have to be extra disciplined and scheduled. And that's true to an extent, but not fully, right? Because if you know you have to clean that day, it doesn't matter what order you clean in. You know, if you normally start with the bathroom and clean, but that just doesn't sound as fun to you, you'd rather clean the bedroom first. At least look at it that way. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be on a specific thing. Like, you can be a little more flexible even with things that you have to do, right? Okay. I hope I explained that good enough. Let's see what else for pile 2. And you guys can look up more of what I'm saying, type in the formula Bashar talks about, and it should bring you to the video that I'm talking about. You might mostly find it on TikTok. They might have some on YouTube. What else could this mean? There are always multiple ways to look at every situation. Our first reaction is usually rooted in our fears and limiting beliefs. And that's kind of what we were just talking about, right? Look at a situation today by stepping outside of the trigger and ask, what else could this mean? Is there something your soul is calling you to learn in this moment? Or is there a pattern that is ready to be broken? And that pattern we just went over, kind of, right? Walk in the other person's shoes and see it from their perspective. If it doesn't involve someone else, ask yourself, how is life happening for me right now? Mystic Lion said the formula is also listed on his website. So that even goes with if you have to go to the gym, you know you got to get that fitness in. If you normally do the routine of stretching first and then going on the stair steppers, maybe switch it up. Maybe stretch and then do abs instead. Like, don't be afraid to switch things up that sound more fun. You know, you don't have to follow the same routine like every day. It gets super boring that way. Okay, and then you lose passion in your life. Then you could start to feel like you're aging quicker, and nobody wants that. So there could be something as well that you're being called to learn. And some of you get super frustrated when you don't learn something right away. That is something you need to let go of. You need to be more patient with yourself when you are learning. And the reason for this is you don't feel smart enough. You don't feel capable. That's the limiting belief. You don't feel capable. The next limiting belief tied to that is a fear of failure. Just not being good enough, fear of failure. Okay, so these are beliefs you have to let go of. How do you let go of? First, realizing it's there and what areas of your life it's there. 2, proving yourself wrong. Tell yourself exactly how that's not true. And every time you get triggered into these patterns, you need to realize it and break it. Okay? It's only a habit if you don't realize it's a habit. Once you realize it's a habit, it's a choice. Okay? That includes your belief systems. You know you have a negative belief system, then you have to tell yourself the opposite. For example, say you're learning how to produce music and it's really hard. And you're getting frustrated with yourself and feeling impatient. You need to tell yourself that you are capable of doing this. It's going to take time, and that's okay. You don't have to figure it out all in one day. If you need a little break, take a break. You don't have to produce a song all in one day. You know what I'm saying? But that goes for anything. That's just an example. But this also has to do with just your general perspective on life, is what Spirit is saying too. Let's say you get a flat tire or your battery isn't working in your car and you're stressing out because you're going to be late. Instead of stressing out, you calm down and you just say, you know what? I'm going to change my perspective from freaking out and overthinking about me being late to switching my perspective about, wow, maybe this is saving me from a car accident or from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And usually once you do that, things work out for you. Like, things just seem to fall in place. You realize it's not a big of a deal as you were making it. However, if you make it a big deal, more wrong things start to happen. So you'll notice that. That's what people mean by our thoughts create our reality. Okay? Just like when we're angry, we look for things to validate our anger. When we're stressed, sometimes we look for things to validate our stress. Well, this is where changing your perspective comes in. If you change your perspective, you may not feel anger as much. You may not feel anxious as much. You may not feel sad as much. So a lot of it, yes, it's changing your perspective, just stopping for a second and thinking, well, what other perspectives could there be here? If someone offends you, instead of taking it as, oh, they're trying to be mean to me, they're trying to hurt me, just look at the perspective of, oh, they're a hurt person. I hope they heal. Even changing the perspective like that makes your life so much easier. Hey, Daniela. I didn't even get to pull cards because I was getting so many channeled messages that maybe we don't even have cards. I don't know. Okay, look, this will give you so much legendary wealth. We have 10 of Pentacles. I think you have a lot of your wounds that developed through the DNA from your family. So your family may be in lack mindset in multiple ways. And it's also just what you grew up around hearing your family say. But just realizing that, okay, you might want to do things to heal your DNA, such as talking to your body, talking to your mind as if it's separate from you, bringing your mind and body back to yourself so that you feel connected with it again. These are things that's going to heal your DNA. Is there anything else? We'll pull just one more because we got a lot of channeled messages here. Again, if you have, some of you are like torn between choices a lot, like not knowing what decision to make, what path is the path I should take. You want to take the one that makes sense logically, but also feels the most fun and passionate. Okay? So if we have the path of, oh, should I just pursue music 100%? Or should I work this nurse job? But you know doing the music job isn't going to get you money right away. But you're like, I don't want to be a nurse either. Then you start to think of a third choice. We're like, okay, maybe OTA sounds fun. You can make your own schedule. You could do this, you could do that. So you know what? I'll do OTA while I do music on the side, since it's flexible. This is where this comes in. It doesn't have to be black or white, A or B. There might be another choice that you don't always see as well. Okay, so you need to let go of the black or white thinking. That's what I'm mostly hearing for this pile. Okay. I also feel like you're holding a lot of trauma in your spine. So you may want to do more spine movements, spine stretches, somatic healing for the spine specifically. Okay? We're going to leave that there. All right, let's go to pile 3. Pile 3. Wow. So, you know, the prop kind of says a lot here. The card that you chose, the part that's really sticking out to me, it's right here. Reminds you to live your life now and not wait to really be who you are. That's really sticking out to me. That might slip by a lot of people's heads, right? Some of you are so focused on, I'm going to be somebody someday, that you're not realizing you are somebody right now. You're important right now. And you know what it is? You didn't get a lot of recognition. You didn't get a lot of good jobs. You didn't get a lot of people noticing your changes that you were making that were positive. And that's where this is, a lot of this is stemming from. Hey, Fairy Godmother. We got the card. Where can I ask for more help in my life? Until we can receive with an open heart, we're never really giving with an open heart. When we attach judgment to receiving help, we knowingly or unknowingly attach judgment to giving help. What does that mean? Some of you don't want to ask for help. You don't want to work with other people. You've had bad experiences, but you're letting these bad experiences dictate the rest of your life. If you continue to have these belief systems around, I can't let people help me because they'll throw it in my face, or they will use it against me or take it from me, then you're going to choose to believe that, and that's going to keep happening. Okay? And it also said, you know, when you do that, you don't realize that you're actually judging the people you help too. Subconsciously. So it says, today's soul action. Today, ask someone for help and receive it with an open heart. I ask for what I want, and I'm open to receiving it. So that's another thing. Don't just ask for what you need and then turn it down. You know, a lot of parents do this. A lot of people's moms may do this. They may complain about no one helping them. But then when you go to help them, they be like, I got it. I already got it. And they get all upset. This is almost that type of vibe. Or, you know, people that don't want to have to ask, they just expect people to do it. Like, people do that with their partners. Like, if you see it needs done, just do it. I don't want to have to ask. But, you know, and that's true to an extent, but also some people just were raised differently. And it has to become a habit first. And sometimes you got to just say what you need. Or some of you don't want to come off annoying or like you're a burden. That's another thing. You don't want to ask for reassurance when you need it. So then you just kind of suffer in silence. You don't want to ask for advice when you need it. So you suffer in silence. I feel like you're the one always helping other people, but you don't want to receive help. But like I said, you don't realize that when you're doing that, you're subconsciously judging people that need your help, need your advice. Okay. Spirit is just yelling at me. They said, no, pull another card from this same deck. This is the only pile I've done this in. The rest I only pulled one of these cards, but... All right, this one says, am I consistently showing up? Some trade their dreams for comfort, yet comfort is the enemy of progress. Success requires showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. And even when it feels uncomfortable. It takes guts and endless vision to stay consistent to your dream. This is reminding me of these videos that I've been finding lately, these podcasts, where rich people, they say they don't follow their passion. How to is opposite, right? You want to follow what sounds the most fun out of your options that you do have, okay? But sometimes all your options could seem not 100% fulfilling, but you want to choose the one that is somewhat fulfilling. And sometimes, how do I explain this? You know, Okay, let me give you an example here. I was watching this rich lady talk. She said, people always tell you follow your passions. She's like, if you follow your passions, that's how you end up broke. Right? Like I said, that's why we have to be realistic. That's what I was saying from pile 2. You have to be realistic with it. You can't just choose music if you know that doesn't make you money yet out of a 9 to 5. So what a lot of these rich people say is they learn something they actually don't like. They learn something they hate, but they know will make them money, but it's boring, right? Still the most fun out of all the boring options these rich people have, but that's why these rich people are 1%ers. They're doing the things that nobody wants to do. They're learning the things that nobody wants to learn because it's boring. It's like another language you're learning, especially when it comes to money. You guys in this pile, I sense that you want to be really rich. This is my people that want to be extremely rich, if not maybe millionaires. And if you want that, you have to go through the process of learning money literacy, which is gonna be boring. It's gonna be so boring. But you know, choose the funnest way to do it, because you still want to follow your passion a little bit just to keep a high vibration. So if your choice is learning the boring stuff through a podcast or through reading a book and the podcast sounds more fun to you, choose the podcast. Because either way, you know, learning this stuff's going to be boring, but that's the more fun way to follow the passion. So you're still following the formula that Bashar talks about. And then you have to be consistent with it. Don't just start something and then give up because you're not getting instant results. You guys think that you can just do stuff and you're supposed to see a following. I should have 1 million followers already. And then you compare yourself to the people that got it quicker than you. You know, the people that got it quicker than you weren't doing that. They weren't comparing. That's why they got it so quick, probably. So you got to stop comparing. Oh, they got it faster than me. They learned this quicker than me. Not everyone's path is the same, first off. We're all here to be on different paths and learn different lessons and do different things. So you guys got to get out of the comparing yourself. And if you're going to compare yourself and you just can't help it, compare yourself to people doing worse than you, not better. Okay? You need to let go of comparing yourself to people doing better than you, because then you just make yourself feel invalidated and not good enough and not capable. So compare yourself to people that want to be in your shoes, that are doing worse than you. I think you guys have a wounded feminine energy. Those even this pile, we all have both masculine and feminine energies. But I think a lot of you are operating more in your masculine. And the feminine energy could be out of balance. Could be wounded. And some of this could be from your other lifetimes. So you know what would help this pile is actually, I think it's called hypnotic therapy. Is that what it's called? Hypnosis. That's what I'm thinking of. Hypnosis is going to help this pile. Hypnosis could also help you with figuring out where things are stemming from. You know, what lives. And help you reset. Wow. And you know what also you need to let go of? Criticizing yourself. You know, you may have too harsh of an inner critic. You need to have a chat with that version of yourself that's criticizing. And just ask it to be a little more gentle. It's doing it as a way to protect you. And you have to let it know that you understand. It's just doing that to protect you. But it's a little too harsh. And it needs to be more gentle with you. Okay, you might want to do that in meditation. Some of you also may need to let go of really bad trauma, like SA, abuse, you know, things like that, that you still haven't healed from, that's trapped in your body. And you may not realize it, but some of you might be bitches in this pile, or assholes. And that's okay. You want to be a little bit of an asshole. But y'all might be a little quick to snap. Okay, and I say that with love. I say that with love for sure. You might be quick to notice an error in someone because you're trying to protect yourself. That was so weird, guys. That message did not want to get out for some reason. So I almost feel like something around you could be feeding off of your energy of the past trauma that you're having a hard time letting go of. Seems like some type of entity or a person could be feeding off of that. Especially with the devil being here. The message not wanting to get out. But also it's keeping you chained to a lower version of yourself. It's like you're higher than you were. But that version of you is still chained to you. It's like you need a cord cut from an old version of yourself. The you that was a victim. And as I was saying, some of you could be quick to like want to cut someone off. That's a trauma response too. Because the best of friends, they talk problems out. You know, if the person's not willing to talk things out and see your side, or they keep repeating the same mistake, that's another story. Cut them off. But if they mess up and you cut them off the first mess up, that's a trauma response. Is a way to protect yourself. So that might be something you want to let go of and realize that you do. I do feel like you have a lot of energy clearing that needs to happen in your womb area. And you can be a man too and still, you know, have some trapped trauma in your sacral chakra. You know, if your partner is making you feel bad because you don't want to be intimate with them, they need to feel bad for making you feel pressured. Because they're teaching you that you should disrespect your own needs for their needs. I don't know who needed to hear that message, but that's what I was feeling. Of course, that was specific, right? Maybe people have done that to you in the past and you haven't healed from that feeling. Ooh, what else? I keep sneezing a lot for this reading. I also feel like you guys need to reset your vagus nerve. So you need to do somatic healing specifically for the vagus nerve, as well as the hypnosis that we were talking about. But you might want to do a meditation as well, or somatic healing for a past version of yourself to feel safe before you can do that cord cutting. Once they feel safe, then you could do that cord cutting. Don't just leave them hanging. No, that's you. You don't want to leave yourself hanging. And then I think that's it, you guys. I mean, this pile had a lot more intensity than the other piles, I would say. Some of you may also be really scared of your gifts. You could see kind of into the spiritual. And so some of you may not know if you're crazy or you're actually seeing things. And you are. But you need to ground them. You need to ground yourself and your gifts a little more. You need to practice them a little more. So you may also need healing in your gut. So this pile has a lot more healing than the other piles to do. And some of you might be feeling behind in life, like you should be further. Again, don't compare yourself, because you're carrying a lot of generational trauma that other people may not be carrying. They don't feel things you feel. They don't see things you see, because they're not carrying as much trauma as you generationally. So keep that in mind. And don't let other people make you feel less than. It's like maybe they're trying to humble you, or they just have they're in their own programming, you know? So don't take it personal, what people say or think. That might be something you need to work on too, not caring what people think. Why do you care what people think? Because you cared what your parents thought of you. Maybe you had a really harsh, critical parent, judgmental parent or guardian. You might have a lot of family members that are addicts. Maybe you were an ex-addict, or maybe you just are carrying the addict gene. So that's also DNA healing, brain healing, vagus nerve healing, gut healing, hypnosis. I mean, you guys have a lot of things to try out, to be honest. But you can do this, but don't rush yourself on it. You know, healing isn't something you want to do in one day. Yeah, you could spend a day dedicated to healing, but that doesn't mean you're going to be finished healing in one day. Your body, your mind, your soul will let you know when it feels healed and you can stop doing the practices. You'll literally like hear yourself talking to yourself. And I'll be like, oh my God, I'm safe now. I feel healed. Like, it'll let you know. You'll hear it through your inner dialogue. Okay? Anyways, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.